Hey guys, it's Jen over at worldofjencraft.com, and this is our fourth and final card using the Smitten Mitten bundle. In case you missed the others, these are cards, I don't know if in the right order, but cards 1, 2, and 3 that I did. And all four of these cards are what my local card class created in the month of November. So I have to say, before I get started, that this card is Pinterest inspired, so if you recognize it by someone else posting it, that's why. I did add a little bit of the silver thread to the background here, which is kind of hard to see, but I added it anyways. And then I added my favorite 1/8 of an inch silver ribbon at the bottom. So it's not exactly like the original posters card, but it's kind of similar. So let's get together. I do it every time I get to talking fast, and let's get to the supplies. So, silver thread is one that I used, and I'm a little embarrassed, but I wanted to get my video out. This is all I have left, and that and a pre-made bow. That's all I have left that I actually stole off of another card in order to create this video. I have another pack of this ribbon coming, but it won't be here till next week. And I didn't want to wait another week to get my video done. Yeah, so 1/8 of an inch silver ribbon. Cherry Cobbler is the ink that I used on this, along with the cardstock too. The Smitten Mitten bundle, which can be purchased together at a 10% discount or separately if you so wish. And oh man, I looked up the name of this folder. I think it's called Winter Wonder, but it's a snowflake and it's really beautiful. So I love this embossing folder, as I do almost all of my embossing folders. I love the extra dimension that it adds to the cards. So supplies, seriously, are almost next to nothing. It's a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 Cherry Cobbler scored at 5 1/2 to create the card base. And then a piece of Cherry Cobbler that, let's see, is approximately 2 3/4. You could probably get a little bit less, but 2 3/4 by 3 1/2 for the Cherry Cobbler to create the mitten, and then again for the Whisper White. And then you will also need a 4 by 5 1/4 as well of the Whisper White. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to stamp out our mitten on this Whisper White, and I did grab a little piece of kind of foamy stuff to put underneath of it, because with the photopolymer stamps you don't have that cushion like you do with the red rubber stamps that you put on the blocks, or even with the wood blocks. And I found with the stamps that have this larger surface here, the solid surface, you do need a little bit of cushion when you are stamping down on it. So that's why I have this underneath of my piece of paper, to give it that smooth, well, not smooth, but give it that extra cushion. So let's get this inked up, and that should be good enough. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp down on here, making sure I got all my spots are covered. Perfect. Okay. That looks good. Then we're going to go ahead and get out our big shot, and we're going to do some embossing and some cutting next. So grab this bad boy out here. Make sure it's up here in my work surface, and I'll get my die. So let's go ahead and we're just going to cut out the mitten first. And then while we have our big shot out, I'm going to grab out the other plate, the regular one, and put our plates on and our embossing folders. So let me grab our Whisper White. And how I did this one is I'm going to line up this snowflake with the top portion of my Whisper White cardstock. So I'm just looking to make sure that all of my points of my snowflake are even here on the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through. And there it is. Isn't that just absolutely stunning? And I found you can either use it with the embossed side up, or it's just as beautiful, I feel, with the embossing going down. So either way, this turns out really pretty. So for my original card, I did do the embossing going down, so I'll probably go ahead and do that again with this card. But I will tell you, when my card class, when my girls were here, they all did it with it facing up because they liked the impression better facing up. So I used Stampin' Dimensionals on this, which is something that you don't have to do. You can go ahead and just lay it flat on your card base if you want. But I kind of liked the extra dimension that this gave. So I went ahead and put those on. And then before we take all of that off, I'm going to adhere our ribbon to the back. So just bring that down here. Make sure my last video I noticed as I was going back to edit it that I kept running my card down off the bottom of the screen, so I'm going to try and not do that this time. I know how frustrating that is when you're watching the video and you want to see the whole card and you're only getting part of it. It's like you kind of want to keep scrolling down to see if you can move the video, but you can't. So, so this is going to go, I don't know, probably about 3/4 of a way up from the bottom of the card. And then we're just going to bring that over. And now I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. And that's just going to get placed down here. Like so. And for my thread, I do like to keep like a little glue dot or something on here to keep it from totally unraveling when I'm not using it. But I went ahead and kind of put my fingers out because I want it to go, you know, on either side of this, kind of at an angle. So I made sure that my fingers were spread approximately like that, just so I had enough of it going on either side. So I'm going to go ahead and make that quick. And I wrapped it around probably about 4 or 5 times, just so I had enough that was kind of poking out from underneath it there. And then I'm just sticking a little bit of fast fuse in the center, which I'm going to put this down. And like I said, it's going to go at an angle on here. Make sure my card is still in here. And then you can kind of play with it and fluff it out if you want, you know, just to kind of get it to the way you like, if you want the strands to be moved out a little bit. And then we're going to take our cut one and we're just going to set that on top of the other one. And I kept these both facing the same direction, so probably like at an angle like this. That's what I'm going to do that. And I did go ahead and use a pop dot on this one as well. Now, if you are keeping your embossing flipped up, you don't necessarily need to use the Stampin' Dimensionals because your embossing is already, gives it that dimension that it sits on. So, and then I'm just going to throw this approximately in the center of everything, of our snowflake. And last but not least, I already have a bow made up, so I don't have to actually make the bow here on the video. Yay! Maybe that's what I should do every time. Kind of saves a little bit of time. Now if I can find my glue dots, then I'm just going to stick this down on top of our ribbon down here at the bottom. And I'm just going to kind of keep this a little off-centered since everything else is centered in the card. So that's it. That is our 4th and final card for this particular series, I guess. I had a little mini series. Hey, that's kind of fun, huh? Maybe that's what I should start calling them. Calling them like little card mini series. So, all right, this is it. This is our card. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you very much for staying tuned and watching me. check out my website, worldofgencraft.com, if you would like the dimensions and a supply list to create this card. This card would be beautiful in pink, would be pretty in like a light blue or green. You could do this in red and green if you wanted to, the traditional Christmas colors. So there's so many different options that you could do with this. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I really do appreciate it, and I will check you later on my next video. Bye.